นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะพุทธังธัมมังสังฆังนะมัสสามิ Blessings to everyone. For those of you watching the online session, it's a bit longer than usual because today is the Buddhist holy day, so we chant the parittas, verses of protection, which generate a very good energy, powerful energy, protective energy, and each paritta is a good reflection. During the middle we chanted the Bojjhanga paritta, the verse on the 7 factors of enlightenment, which is always a good reminder of the 7 factors or qualities that bring the mind to fruition. Enlightenment, sometimes they say true knowledge and vision of the way things are, no more ignorance or delusion, which is what causes us suffering. Obviously the enlightened being, the awakened being, doesn't suffer. That's the point of it. And these 7 factors are like the essential factors for that, to give rise to that mind, the enlightened, awakened, fully awakened mind, of true knowledge and vision of the way things are, as opposed to untrue knowledge, false knowledge or mistaken understanding of the way things are, which is where we're starting from when we practice the unenlightened mind. As Luang Por Chah compared it, he said, ignorance is like the fish swimming through the pond. It's got its eyes open, but it goes straight into the hook of the fisherman. Maybe the hook has a worm or a maggot on it, and the fish has its eyes open, but it doesn't see the hook, doesn't see the danger, bites the worm and gets the hook stuck in its mouth, and then the fisherman has caught it. The deluded mind is like that. We keep getting stuck on things. We keep taking the bait. We keep thinking things will bring us happiness when they can't. Whereas these 7 factors of enlightenment, when fully developed, when brought to completion, remove the delusion, so then the Dhamma eye opens. So not just the physical eye, but then the eye of wisdom, or the Dhamma eye. So then for the practitioner, they do see the bait, they see the danger, and they don't take the bait. So like the enlightened being isn't attached to the world, not lost in the world, doesn't grasp, but pleasure and pain and the experiences of the world. Because any form of grasping is going to lead to suffering, and they know that, they see that. So you'd have to say the Dhamma eye is better than the ordinary physical eye, because the Dhamma eye is coming from wisdom, clear vision, clear seeing. And when you start practicing meditation, you particularly see this, how we keep getting caught into the next thought, the next desire, the next mood, how we attach to every feeling of pleasure and pain, and it stimulates all kinds of reactions, desires. All of this, you could say, is taking the bait. The mind just goes for it, out of habit, partly, out of ignorance, partly. The power of habit means we just keep going for the same old things. As Luang Por Chah once said to a monk who, when he got his favourite dessert was offered at the monastery, and it was coming down the line, and his eyes doubled in size. His eyes lit up with the desire, I'm going to eat this, my favourite dessert. Ajahn Chah said, I'm still getting caught on the same old things. Nothing's changed. Some of our desires are so close and so closely protected, we're so used to them and so familiar with them and so happy with them, we're just not yet ready to give them up, even though they cause us suffering, because when there's desire there'll be attachment, there'll be longing, wanting, and then discontent when you don't get what you want, or fear that you'll lose what you've got. Desire doesn't lead to peace, doesn't lead to clarity and equanimity. It just leads to more agitation. Makes your eyes go big. That's when you want something, like something. If it's something you don't like, then your eyes go big, but with a slightly different mood behind them. Maybe they say your eyes change colour depending on the mood. So if it's like sensual desire, there's a sort of a red energy. If it's jealousy, it can be green, and we say green with envy. So chanting the Paritas and reflecting on the 7 factors of enlightenment reminds us what we're cultivating. So it begins with sati, Dhammavicaya, investigation of the Dhamma, virya, effort. They're probably the 3 most important things in our daily practice. Constantly bringing up the mindfulness, paying attention, getting to know our own body and mind. And from there, investigating the Dhamma. And when we investigate the body, and that is the starting place, according to the Buddha, the first foundation of mindfulness, direct your attention to the body. Really paying attention closely to the body. It's another delusion, isn't it, when we look at other people, particularly other people, because you see yourself very much, although sometimes we do in a mirror, but generally we're looking out at the world, at other people. We always see a superficial impression, the sort of overall shapes and colours, and we tend to look for what we like. So we're attracted to certain forms, aspects of the body. And we tend to look at the people's as sort of a complete whole, their whole body. Whereas when you're directing mindfulness to the body, contemplating the 32 parts, you're going right in close. So hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, teeth, skin. The first 5 meditation objects you're given when you become a Buddhist monk. You're looking really closely up at the body, and it separates out some of that solid appearance that we're so used to and take for granted. Everyone has hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, fingernails, toenails, teeth, skin. But you're starting to break down or analyze the body into its component parts rather than just with that superficial image which tends to give you a desire. I like this one, I don't like that one. Now you're just looking more at the component parts, breaking down this idea of self. And those 32 parts, you keep looking carefully with mindfulness, investigating, familiarizing yourself where they are in the body, what they look like, what's their nature. A single hair isn't that attractive. It may not be that ugly, but it's not attractive. It's just a hair, and one person's hair is much the same as the next person's hair. Hair is easily becomes dirty. If you don't wash it, it becomes smelly. That's the nature of the body up close when you're mindful and investigating. But rather than making us feel disappointed, like when you look in a mirror with the eye of attraction, the normal eye of desire, you might look at your face or your clothes or your whole body, and so nearly always you'll say, oh, this is wrong, that's wrong, don't like this, don't like that. And maybe there's bits you do like, so I like this, I like that. You're just looking according to desire, and the same with other people. But when you look under the sort of the microscope lens of mindfulness, then it's just a hair. It's just a hair, isn't it? It's no longer particularly attractive or even unattractive. It's just a hair. A little cell of the skin, or a little piece of skin. It's not attractive. It's just hair cells. The very outward layer of our skin is dry, it's dead. That's why we don't feel anything when we sit down. It doesn't hurt. As opposed to, say, if you have a cut, then you really feel every bit of pressure because the skin has been parted and you're having to experience the nerves, the raw nerves. But every single part of the body, you look at it closely with mindfulness. It changes this perspective. You're no longer just stimulating desire, liking, disliking. You're looking at the way it is. Even more so if you were to continue on analysing those 32 parts into the 4 elements: earth, air, fire, water. The attraction, the aversion disappears, the sense of self fades away. It's just elements, just earth, a lump of earth, a pool of water, air going here and there, temperature, heating and cooling. If you keep doing that, contemplation with mindfulness, with effort, investigating the Dhamma world, the mind starts to really let go of desire, doesn't it? It's looking very closely at the way things are rather than living in the world of the imagination and the desires and the superficial appearance. If you really investigate the 32 parts, the 4 elements, it's liberating. It gives rise to piti, sukha, equanimity, detached awareness with equanimity. Sometimes we call it the separation of the mind. When you investigate the body with mindfulness, with effort, you get a sense of separation between the mind that knows, that is trained in mindfulness, cultivating insight, and the body, the thing that's known, the element or the body part. And your whole way of looking at the body changes then. Your perception The way you look at it, the way you remember it, the way you regard your own body changes. You might not even feel it's your own body when you really see clearly with mindfulness and insight. It's just like parts of nature, but you don't really own it. And if you carry on doing that throughout the whole body, you become really clear what the body is, but the sense of ownership, identifying with it as me, mine, myself, changes. You change your relationship to it. Your view changes. And that applies to every aspect of the foundations of mindfulness. You go on to contemplate feeling, pleasure, pain, neutral feeling, the mind, the states of mind, defiled or not defiled, with greed, not with greed, with anger, no anger, with delusion, no delusion. Different mental states, which is how we know our mind. And then the Dhammas, the Four Noble Truths, how suffering arises, how it ceases. Cultivating mindfulness, ultimately leading us to liberation. It's a step-by-step thing. It's not like, most people don't contemplate and suddenly become arahants. It's a gradual process, isn't it? You keep training in cultivating these 7 factors of enlightenment over and over again. The reason we're not fully awakened and fully enlightened yet is because we keep stopping and starting. Like a car or something, you drive a little bit and then the battery goes flat and you stop. Maybe have a cigarette or a meal or look at the view, and then after a while you push it and start going again. If it's like that, it's going to take a long time to get you to your destination. And meditation is like that, these 7 factors of enlightenment. Sometimes the switch is on and we're doing it, sometimes the switch is off, we stop. So it's a gradual process for most people. In the time of the Buddha is the same. We like to talk about people who got enlightened straight away hearing one talk. Even great monks, someone like Venerable Ananda, he was a Sotapanna for most of his monk life until the end, until the Buddha passed away. So when the Buddha said he's going to pass away, he cried. He was sad and cried, as you might expect. Your teacher announces he's going to die soon. He cried. He was deluded, so he forgot to invite the Buddha to stay on for another eon or for however long. Later on, he had to confess an offence for that. He made a mistake and the Sangha picked him up on it later. But he was sad. And the Buddha saw that he was sad, saw the tears in his eyes and said, "Oh, didn't I teach you, Ananda? Separation from all I love and like is sure, is certain." That's the same for everybody. Whoever we love and attach to, whatever we love and attach to, we'll separate from it because we don't live forever. That's where you're seeing through the bait, the attraction. Whatever you attach to, meaning the thing you get hooked on, it can't last. Whatever pleasure you can have with the eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, the touch, the thoughts, the ideas we can have, none of them last because this life, very life, is impermanent. But the bait, the attraction, is that we get hooked on all these different objects, try and make them ours, try and keep hold of them. It's very tiring doing that, and even when we get them, causes us suffering when we lose them again, because they're not permanent. Nothing lasts. Nothing stays the same. Because we don't see that, we keep getting hooked, wanting more and more. Same old thing over and over again. Like the kid who told me he could quote every line of his favourite film because he'd seen it 38 times. So he literally knew every line of the whole movie. It was so much fun for him, which, you hope that he enjoys it, but at the same time, a bit of an attachment which eventually will fade, and then maybe it's like, oh, well, why did I attach so much to that? When you have toys and things you like, and then gradually you grow out of them, you get bored with them. Life is like that. We keep getting bitten by the snake of life. Keep getting hooked by the fisherman's hook. The way out is cultivating the 7 factors of enlightenment, bringing up the mindfulness, investigating the Dhamma, developing the equanimity. So that was what the Buddha told Ananda, even Venerable Ananda, the great monk, was actually praised. The Buddha said he was foremost in mindfulness, remembered every single teaching the Buddha gave, we believe. But still he had his own limitations in his understanding at that point when the Buddha was going to pass away. Then when the Buddha did pass away, Venerable Mahakassapa was concerned because some of the monks were actually happy in the sense that they said, oh, now we haven't got the Buddha telling us what to do, giving us all these rules to keep. Now we've got our freedom, we can do exactly what we want. And Venerable Mahakassapa could see there's a danger for the Sangha. Oh, we've got to remember, record what the Buddha's taught, his words of Dhamma, the words of the Vinaya. It needs to be remembered and recorded for the future, otherwise people are going to start practicing in the wrong way and forgetting stuff or teaching the wrong things. So he called a Sangha council, the first council of elders. But everyone decided it should only be attended by fully enlightened arahants. And Ananda was still a Sotapanna, a stream enterer, so he's in trouble. So off he went to practice, desperate to finish the job, become enlightened before the council, because he had all the talks, the suttas in his mind, in his memory. He'd committed everything to memory. Venerable Pali was the expert in Vinaya, but Ananda was expert in the Dhamma. All the suttas. When he became the Buddha's attendant monk, he'd ask for that. He said, whenever you give a teaching, I want to be present, hear it so I can memorize it. If I'm not present, can you tell me later what you said so I can memorize it? If there's any question I don't understand, can you explain to me? If someone else has a question, can you help answer it? These were his conditions becoming the Buddha's attendant. He also didn't want to do it for anything else, any other reason. So he said, I'm not going to take anything, any of the fancy robes, fancy food, accommodation, medicines, requisites that you're offered. Don't give them to me, because otherwise people will think I'm just doing it for the gains of the position. So no need to pass anything to me. So he had a very clear plan from day one what he wanted to do, which was attend to the Buddha and record his teachings. He wasn't doing it for the fame or the fortune. So he had all the suttas there, but he wasn't an arahant, so what was he going to do? So he desperately trying to get enlightened, cultivate these 7 bojjhangas, walking up and down all night, meditating, sitting, walking. The night before, the last night before the Sangha Council, when it reached dawn, he's kind of disheartened. I haven't done it, haven't reached Nibbana yet. So he gave gave up. I thought, oh, perhaps I've been trying too hard. Time to lie down, have a rest. And they said before his head hit the pillow, his mind converged. All those 7 factors of enlightenment converged in his mind. And he did become an arahant. So the most famous arahant to have become enlightened, not in one of the 4 main postures, halfway between sitting and lying down. It's something that's common to all enlightened beings, that they've cultivated and perfected the 7 factors of enlightenment. It means lots of effort to bring up mindfulness, investigate the Dhamma, develop the Dhamma eye, the clear knowledge and vision to break through ignorance, all those constant attachments to views and opinions, preferences, likes and dislikes, all the things that fill up our mind, make it hard to settle down in our meditation. You have to see through all that, see it as impermanent, suffering, not self. Then the mind can let go, because it sees clearly, it sees the hook, the fisherman's hook in everything, and doesn't attach. Could even take it as a meditation. Where's the hook in this? Why am I still attached to this thought, this emotion, this part of the body, this desire? There's always going to be a hook somewhere that we haven't seen. So maybe for tonight I'll just say this much, leave you with these reflections, and for those of you watching online, in a moment, if you have any questions, you can either type them in or raise your hand.